Hello. Are you thinking about maybe selling your investment property here in Rhode Island? Let's talk about the nuts and bolts of how you would do that. I'm Sandi Warner with Warner Realty Group, and today we're going to talk about how you might think about capturing the equity that you've earned in your investment property. Number one, if you happen to have an investment property in Newport that is in a limited business district, oh my gosh, everybody and their brother wants those properties. If you're tired of being a landlord, if you don't want to deal with Airbnb registrations and fire codes and all of that kind of thing, this is a great time to sell that property. I personally have been advising all of my investment buyers, if any of those properties come on the market, grab them. Number two, how do you give notice to your tenants, or can you show property with tenants in place? Yes, in Rhode Island, you are required to give your tenants 48 hours notice. That is in the state law. It's Chapter 34, Title 18. There is no provision under Rhode Island law for your tenant to refuse access to you. Now, does that mean you should be a jerk and just barge in? No, work with your tenant, try to find a day. What I do is I reach out to the tenants of a building and I say, hey, we're putting this house on the market. I try to tell them way in advance, what are the best days, tenant, for us to show your property? We don't need you to be home, and there will always be a licensed realtor in the property with any guests. No one will be alone in any room or around your things. By doing that, I think sometimes when we say to a tenant, hey, we're going to list the house and we're going to put we're going to be showing it, tenants kind of picture a lockbox and everyone can just walk in and the tenant has to be home. Don't assume your tenant knows how you're going to do it. Hopefully you and your realtor can really, even if you need to create a one-page sheet, this is what we will do, this is what we will not do, put your tenant at ease. Number three, try to put together rent rolls. If you're selling an investment property, it is much easier for your agent, me hopefully, to really pitch this to investors if we have a good record, whether it's a P&L. What was your income in this property over the last 12 months, even better, 24 months? Where are all your leases? If you're on month to month, that's okay. Put together this data, collect your expenses. What are you paying in property taxes? What is your average utility bill? If you don't have separate water meters, what is the water running? Heating is a good one to have. Some of the older buildings, they just aren't as well sealed, so they could be a little more expensive to heat. The third thing you want to do is you want to get all your leases together. If you have leases that are about to expire, do not renew right before you go on the market. I think what I see landlords do is they'll go try to renew because they know their tenant and they're friends with their tenant and they want to try to give their tenant some security. But a lot of times they renew those leases at below market value, and investors don't want that. Number one, if you're an investor, you have to show what that property is going to make. So if you landlord, you've decided to sell your multifamily home and you're going to give your neighbor or your tenant who's on the second floor, who's been there for 15 years, you're going to lock them in 25% below market rate, but you're going to ask market rate. No investor can buy that property because you've locked in a lease that doesn't support your price. Remember, your pricing that your real estate agent's going to give you is based on market value of the leases. So when your realtor, hopefully me, comes to talk to you and they'll say, oh, for this floor we would get $2,500, and for this floor we'd get $1,800, and for this floor we'd get $1,200, and that gives us an annual rent of whatever it is, $72,000. They're going to base your market price on that price. But if you hamstring them by locking a tenant in below market, just know that your market price is going to be affected. And maybe that's okay. You probably have so much equity in the home. So those are a couple tips if you're thinking about getting out of the landlord business. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about what your value is. Know that the 1031 exchange rules are changing in January, and that this might be the time to take a tactical tax move and get that property on the market. I'm Sandi Warner with Warner Realty Group, making the complex simple.